What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is the Thunder Channel on nootropics and a lot of other things. Going to talk about using nootropics every day, but for this specific reason. In other words, we usually warn against it, but using nootropics every day in the condition that I'm going to discuss, the situations I'm going to discuss, actually makes great sense. In the meantime, this broadcast is brought to you by a couple products. Number one, as you see on the right or over here, the Cortex Nootropic Stack. Find it at livecortex.com. It's a powerful motivation, mental energy, verbal fluency nootropic stack. $34 at livecortex.com. Very powerful pre-made nootropic stack. However, if you want a better deal on Cortex, get the Cortex double stack. That gets you 2 bottles of Cortex and they're $24 each. That's the cheapest they've ever been. It's almost like us running like a BOGO special or something. Get the Cortex double stack, livecortex.com. If you're new to nootropics, Nootropics Ground Zero, video course I created for people that are new to show you the ropes, give you some good stacks, show you how to use nootropics. Also for new folks, Smarter, Better, Faster Audio. It's an interactive audio book. Book that I wrote, but the interactive audiobook is a page-turning version of it with me reading it. It is so sick. Teaches you a lot about surgically using nootropics. And then last thing, if you are a business person and are in need of brain optimization, energy optimization, full-on mental optimization to skyrocket productivity, to really get your brain functioning incredibly awesome, using nootropics, research chemicals, and whatever else we have available, either the 3-month, 3.5 month, or the 6-month intensive. These are hands-on, results-driven consulting package where you work directly with me to achieve those outcomes. So let's find the topic here in all of my different things that I've got going on. And okay, so we're going to talk about using nootropics every day for this particular reason. You know, like I was warned against using nootropics every day because you want to cycle, you want to keep the brain guessing. Nootropics are, you know, it's like they're like caffeine and then they're modifying receptor sites, but then it's sort of with caffeine kind of goes back to normal. You still get a buzz, maybe a tolerance every now and then. Nootropics are different. I mean, they'll change the function of your brain in a variety of ways, and if you're taking something too consistently, that may not be good. Case in point being down-regulating receptor sites, which is not good, especially if you don't know how to upregulate them. So that's why we talk about cycling and not taking the same stack every day, or nootropics in general every day. But this is the specific instances in which you would want to take even the same nootropics in a stack, like a stack, every day, 7 days a week. Number one, it is solving a longer-term problem. Okay, I got cut off as usual. It gets cut off as usual. Okay, solving a longer-term problem. You would want to be taking nootropics every day. A great example of that is Adderall damage. You know, I get a lot of people that are just like business professionals that have done really well for themselves, but at this stage in their lives, they feel no pleasure. They have a hard time getting motivated, and that's because for the previous 6 years, which is probably what led them to their success in business, they took Adderall every day, right? And they finally decided to get off it. It was making their mood super blunted, and now they're in a place where their dopaminergic function is just so deranged. Their brain is sort of relying on the Adderall, forcing that extra release. They're not taking anymore because they don't want to, and now they're in this really crappy place. So in this particular situation, the usual suspects, 9-methylbicarboline, bromontane, krill oil, lecithin, because you want phospholipids if you're going to try to foster the expression of downed receptors, possibly tyrosine in that case. Whatever the regimen would be, I would have that person on that regimen every day for 6 months. And quite honestly, over that 6 months, if the regimen is correct, it'll repair a lot of the damage that's done and kind of get them back to normal. Another example is PSSD, right? Fostering dopamine and acetylcholine concentrations, binding and uptake. To do that, you'd be taking pretty much some of the same compounds every day. And the folks that I work with on the PSSD side, there usually are, but if there are nootropics in the mix in conjunction with other supplements that are doing different things, they're taking them every day. I don't have them cycle whatsoever because we've got repair work to do. Some of the chemicals are most of the chemicals are repairing functions so they can have their sexual sensitivity and libido and climax ability and EQ back. So perfect example of needing to use nootropics in that case, if they're in the regimen, which they usually are for PSSD, every day. The next major example is using nootropics to create a chemical condition that you aren't able to, okay? Chemical, so we'll catch that. Chemical condition you aren't able to. Based on your general physiology and a problem that is unsolvable or has not been solved or is really, really stubborn. ADD, ADHD is a great example, a case in which the dopamine transporters are just shuttling dopamine away really, really quickly. And that screws with the entire system, puts people in a place where they can't focus, their energy is lacking a little bit, they've got motivation problems, and they cannot concentrate on things. In that particular situation, like because of this whole transporter issue with ADHD and ADD, you would want to keep more dopamine around. So you'd be wanting to take compounds that, you'd be wanting to take the same compounds every day. Again, on the dopamine side, you always want to look at 9-methyl-B-carboline, bromontane for dopamine synthesis, possibly tyrosine, but in that case, L-DOPA, because L-DOPA administered exogenously is not regulated by the D2 autoreceptor, which will try to kind of lower quantities of it if there's excessive quantities of it. So to get the result you're looking for, to sort of manufacture the brain condition that you need, because your brain is incapable of doing it via whatever chemically is underlying ADD, underlying the excessive dopamine transport, taking the same compounds, bromontane, L-DOPA, other compounds, is a good idea. And then, hopefully you're simultaneously working on the repair part of it if you really have a grasp on it, or working with somebody who has a grasp on actually reversing some of that stuff. So you would need to actually, to manufacture that condition, be taking certain things, because you're fighting the transporter's inclination to constantly clear dopamine. Okay, so those are good examples of the necessity to use nootropics every day. And the same stack, that's like number one like principle or pillar in some of the business folks that I work with on a nootropics consulting basis in keeping their stacks consistent. We just do not have them taking the same thing every day. It's like intelligently formulated otherwise stacks that are targeting different systems that they switch between and then cycle on weekends. And that's usually what I suggest to everybody to get consistent results, to not get side effects from nootropics, to keep the effects fresh, etc. But in cases where you're having to repair longer term issues like dopamine damage, PSSD, or you're trying to manufacture a brain state that your brain is just stubbornly incapable of manufacturing, using nootropics every day, and the same nootropics every day, is not only okay, but it is smart. Hope that makes sense. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Couple major things. So let's see if I can actually get the logo up here for you guys. That would be in downloads, perhaps. You know what? I don't even know where that is. Okay, gaming logo, or we'll just use the word gaming. Okay, there it is. Okay, so what I have decided to do, because I am super into gaming these days, is create a YouTube channel called Cortex Labs Gaming. That's exactly what it's called, Cortex Labs Gaming. You can find it if you search for it on YouTube. I will link to the channel in this video in the description below. There's no videos up, and I'm working on my first one now, and it's basically all Modern Warfare all day. Hardpoint mostly, just using a variety of weapons, focusing on the efficacy of some of the weapons and what my loadouts are, what my setups are. Getting things like VTOLs and chopper gunners and massive kill streaks, hacks for that. A bunch of really cool all Modern Warfare all day on the Cortex Labs Gaming channel, where we're also going to promote Cortex as a gaming stack, because it is. I mean, I take the Cortex stack and it makes me better at gaming. So check out the link below, the Cortex Labs Gaming channel. Please subscribe to that channel, and the content will be strictly Modern Warfare gaming. If you're not into that, don't subscribe to it. If you are into gaming and shooter games particularly, please subscribe to Cortex Labs Gaming. Again, the link is in the description below. In the meantime, you guys know the drill. This broadcast is brought to you by our products: the Cortex Stack, the Cortex Double Stack, 2 bottles of Cortex, $24 each. Nootropics Ground Zero, buy that if you're new. It's a video course. Smarter, Better, Faster audio, surgically using nootropics. And then again, the 6-month and the 3.5-month intensive nootropics consulting packages. Get on those, slots are filling. Do all that stuff at livecortex.com. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. More live streams over coffee and live streams over booze coming soon. Talk to you next time.